Yeah, we are now starting with fourth unit, that is role of central and state government in promoting entrepreneurship. Hoping that PPT is visible to you, let's start with the discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Is it possible you can large the screen?
Uh, एक minute. Huh?
Yeah, the last one.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, that's also fine.
That's also fine. All right. Now, this unit is about understanding various schemes, subsidies, and grants which are being offered to the entrepreneurs for starting their ventures. Now, in this same unit, now I'll just quickly take you through the slides. This unit also talks about the various fiscal as well as the tax concessions which are being offered to the entrepreneurs when he is beginning with his entrepreneurial venture. Then there is a concept of export oriented unit, EOU. Basically it's a scheme, export promotion scheme. So how an entrepreneur, if he wishes to start his unit in this zone, then what all options he has got available with, and how he can venture into it, what are the benefits of actually. When I enlarge it, screen is not little visible to me. I'm losing few of the content. Is it okay if I put this mode on? Some titles and all I actually lose out. I am unable to see them.
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
Fine. Thank you so much. So this we would also be learning some of the objectives of starting this export oriented unit, what benefits it offers to the entrepreneur. Then another option available is SSI unit, small scale industries. So what unit we call as a SSI unit, some of the problems which SSI industries in India they face, and what role SSI plays in the Indian economy. So this is what roughly we are going to see in this unit, fourth unit. Let us begin now the discussion. Introduction to various incentives, subsidies, and grants. Now, in order to accelerate the small industries development, government at the central and state level they have set up number of agencies or institutions. The aim of uh, providing incentives and subsidies and grants at central as well as state level is to accelerate the number of small industries at maybe local level or at regional level too. So to support them, to promote them, these incentives and subsidies have been set up. Now there are some institutions at like all India level institutions like IDBI, IFCI, ICICI. They have promoted or they have sponsored number of these technical consultancy organizations (TCOs) to assist small entrepreneurs in different ways. Now we are learning the assistance. We are learning about. We are getting information about incentives and subsidies. So these financial institutions they have promoted a concept called as TCOs, that is technical consultancy organizations, who are assisting these small entrepreneurs in different ways. So whatever their requirements are, whatever sort of assistance these small entrepreneurs are requiring, they can approach these TCOs which are promoted or sponsored by these financial institutions, and they can find out the small entrepreneurs, they can find out the remedies or solutions with these TCOs. Recently, SIDB, Small Industries Development Bank of India, has been established to help small scale units. Another venture by Government of India, that is SIDB, specifically takes care of, or it helps out the small scale units, uh, maybe in case they want to set up, or any assistance is required for setting up small scale unit, SIDB can be approached. In addition to these institutions, there are agencies like National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Board, Khadi and Village Industries Commission (KVIC). There are commercial banks, Exim banks, cooperative banks who undertake these promotional activities aiming at facilitating the industrial development. So we can see that lot of initiatives from government side are being put up for setting up these small scale units. Now, when government is providing incentives and subsidies and grants to these small units, let us now understand these four things. Now, how institutional support is being provided, financial as well as entrepreneurship support is provided, what type of finance is being made available to these small units, as well as how to take care of working capital and fixed capital. We'll understand this. Now, talking about institutional support, what does it mean? To strengthen the marketing efforts of small scale units, government has extended various types of assistance like market research, survey assistance in case an SSI unit wants to conduct market research activities, it is being provided. Then disseminating of information related to various marketing aspects, maybe understanding some schemes, ancillary promotion, publicity, exhibition, trade fair, display. A unit, if it wants to enter or participate in any of the exhibitions or maybe a trade fair, but it doesn't know, the unit doesn't know how to participate, what all fees to pay, how to go for display, how to take permission, there are lots of things available. If somebody if an unit if a unit wants to enter this trade fair, so government has extended its hands by providing assistance in these manner. So in case I want to, or let's say I want to carry out some research activities, then there are institutes run by government who can help me out. In case I want to go for some promotional activities, publicity, even institutes are there. Then training program, seminar, open house discussion, buyer seller meets. These are various initiatives at institutional level which are being extended to these small scale units. There are some institutions and schemes which are extending the marketing support to small scale enterprises. Um, such institutions which provide these supports are National Small Industries Corporation. I'm just calling out the names of the institutes who provide support to these small units. Understanding? समझ में आ रहा है? So National Small Industries Corporation (NSIC) is there. SSI Corporation is there. State Small Industries Corporation, Khadi and Village Industries Commission (KVIC), it is popularly known as. Then export promotion councils, commodity boards, state trading corporations, minerals and metal trading corporations. These are all the government institutes who provide assistance, institutional assistance to small units. Getting it? Now, second help or assistance from government side is by establishing entrepreneurship and financial support. Very important incentive or helping hand, we can say, when the government is offering in case of financial support. What it is, now we know that finance is lifeblood of any entrepreneurial venture. Any business is incomplete without finance, so it is like basic requirement to begin your venture. अब पैसे के बिना ये सब चीजें करना is highly impossible. So entrepreneurs are always in need of capital to start their business. and they can get this assistance at every stage of the business. At every stage, that assistance, financial assistance, is required. So, entrepreneurs should plan in advance how to procure the needed finance for investment from the external source. Now, external source is the institutes, various such institutes. Maybe I can borrow money from bank, I can borrow money from my um, from various other financial institutions. So these become the external source. Internal would be my own money I am investing, my own hard earned money, or probably borrowing it from my friends, blood relatives, like that. Now, it is very important for these entrepreneurs to identify the financial institutions who are providing financial assistance for their projects. So, knowing which such institutes are who provide this financial assistance to me as an entrepreneur, I should know this. They provide, these financial institutions, they provide assistance to meet my fixed capital or working capital requirement, venture capital requirement of the entrepreneur. So, what type of finance um basically I require basically three types of finances: short term finance, medium term finance, and long term finance, right? I'm being an entrepreneur. I may require money to complete my short term objectives, medium term objectives, as well as long term objectives. So I require finance in these ways. Now, short term finance meaning what? It refers to funds required to meet the the financial commitments during the shorter period of time. जैसे बोलेंगे less than 1 year. Students, are you understanding? समझ में आ रहा है? Am I audible clearly to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. सो मेरी ये जो रिक्वायरमेंट है फाइनेंस की, 1 साल के अंदर जो होती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज शॉर्ट टर्म रिक्वायरमेंट और शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट. नाउ शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंस में कहाँ यूज करती हूँ? आई यूज दिस टू मीट द टेम्पररी वर्किंग कैपिटल ऑफ द एंटरप्राइज. लाइक I can opt for maybe bank credit or installment credit or customer advance to take care of this short term finance. हाँ, मानो मुझे let's say I have to pay to my workers, suppose. अभी this cannot be my medium term finance requirement or long term. ये तो short term है, ये महीने की सैलरी मुझे देना है, right? So उसके लिए I require money today. Even if I'm getting, let's say my check will be cleared after a week's time, then I'll have, let's say, lakhs of rupees in my account, for example. But today I am badly in need of, let's say, 10 lakhs of rupees. नेक्स्ट मंडे मेरे अकाउंट में 25 लाख जमा हो जाएंगे सपोज, बट आज मुझे 10 lakhs की ज़रूरत है एंड आई डोंट हैव दैट मच ऑफ मनी. देन व्हाट डू? आई डेफिनेटली हैव टू आस्क फॉर क्रेडिट. मुझे क्रेडिट पे लेना पड़ेगा. सो शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंस मुझे कहाँ से मिल सकता है? शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट कहाँ से पूरी हो सकती है? कैन बी मेट थ्रू सोर्सेस लाइक बैंक क्रेडिट और ट्रेड क्रेडिट, इंस्टॉलमेंट क्रेडिट, कस्टमर एडवांस. मे बी मैं कस्टमर्स से एडवांस लेके देन आई कैन मेक पेमेंट टू माई वर्कर्स. गेटिंग इट? ये हो गया शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंस. अभी आता है मीडियम टर्म. मीडियम टर्म रेफर्स टू पीरियड ऑफ 5 years. आज से 5 साल तक जो मेरा खर्चा होने वाला होगा, दैट इज माय मीडियम टर्म फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट. नाउ ये क्यों मीडियम टर्म फाइनेंस क्यों मुझे लगता है? इट इज रिक्वायर्ड टू मीट permanent working capital needs, to expand my business, maybe to replace certain assets of mine, or maybe to meet the expenses for modernization. हाँ, जो अगले 5 साल में ये जो खर्चे मेरे आने वाले हैं, हो सकता है मुझे कोई मशीन रिप्लेस करना है, या फिर मेरा बिजनेस बढ़ाना है, या फिर आई हैव टू गो फॉर मॉडर्नाइजेशन. मानो कंप्यूटर्स मुझे लेने होंगे 5-10, तो दैट विल बी अंडर माय मीडियम टर्म फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट. नाउ ये मैं कहाँ से फुलफिल कर सकती हूँ? बाय इशूइंग ऑफ शेयर्स एंड डिबेंचर्स. लॉन्ग मीडियम टर्म है 5 साल के लिए, तो मैं ये डेफिनेटली शेयर्स या डिबेंचर्स इशू कर सकती हूँ. मे बी लोन्स फ्रॉम फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, कमर्शियल बैंक्स, मे बी प्लाविंग बैक फ्रॉम द प्रॉफिट में से ही कुछ पैसा लेके मैं आई कैन फुलफिल माई मीडियम टर्म फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट, या फिर थ्रू पब्लिक डिपॉजिट्स जो लोगों ने पैसा रखा होगा उसमें से थोड़ा लेके आई कैन टेक इट। एंड थर्ड टाइप इज लॉन्ग टर्म। हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं अभी, वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग टाइप्स ऑफ फाइनेंस जो कि इंस्टीट्यूशनल, जो इंसेंटिव्स या सब्सिडीज विच आई एम गेटिंग एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट, तो उसमें what all support or initiate what all incentives government is providing me. We have seen institutional support, financial support में अभी हम लोग देख रहे हैं that how my requirement is towards short term, medium term and long term. तो शॉर्ट टर्म मेरा पूरा कैसे हो जाता है, व्हेन आई बोरो मनी फ्रॉम बैंक क्रेडिट से हो जाता है। मीडियम टर्म इशूइंग ऑफ शेयर्स एंड डिबेंचर्स, पब्लिक डिपॉजिट से। लॉन्ग टर्म फाइनेंस, अभी लॉन्ग टर्म एक्सीडिंग 5 years, 5 years से भी ज्यादा पीरियड के लिए जो लगेगा, दैट इज कॉल्ड लॉन्ग टर्म फाइनेंस। नाउ दिस इज रिक्वायर्ड टू परचेज फिक्स्ड एसेट्स, मे बी एस्टैब्लिशिंग अ न्यू बिजनेस, और मे बी टू मीट द एक्सपेंसेस ऑफ एक्सपेंशन और मॉडर्नाइजेशन, जो पहले में भी देखा था, बट ऑन अ लार्जर स्केल इफ आई हैव टू डू इट देन इट कम्स अंडर लॉन्ग टर्म रिक्वायरमेंट। अगेन आई कैन इशू शेयर्स एंड डिबेंचर्स, और मे बी प्रॉफिट में से ही लेके, या फिर asking the financial institutions who can provide long term finance to us. So these are some ways. Now assistance is given in terms of working capital and fixed capital support. अभी working capital support, fixed capital support क्या है? Now उसके पहले समझ लेते हैं what is working capital, which is required. This working capital is required to meet my day to day expenses, या फिर जो भी मेरी everyday commitment जो होती है towards my business, I require working capital for that. Now, working capital needs would be fulfilled through loans from commercial banks in the form of hypothecation or pledge. जो भी मेरी बिजनेस की वर्किंग कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट है वो मैं लोन ले सकती हूँ फ्रॉम कमर्शियल बैंक्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ हाइपोथिकेशन. Working capital assistance is also given by finance companies, state financial corporations, and cooperative banks. So, specifically, I can get working capital assistance from finance companies से, या फिर cooperative बैंक से, या state financial corporation से भी जो working capital के लिए support मिल सकता है. Then फिक्स्ड कैपिटल सपोर्ट. अभी फिक्स्ड कैपिटल किसको बोलते हैं? कैपिटल रिक्वायर्ड टू परचेज फिक्स्ड एसेट्स. हाँ, उसके लिए जो पैसा लगता है दैट इज फिक्स्ड कैपिटल. सो जब मुझे लैंड बिल्डिंग खरीदना है, या प्लांट मशीनरी फर्नीचर इस टाइप के फिक्स्ड एसेट्स खरीदने हैं, देन आई रिक्वायर दिस. अभी इसके लिए सपोर्ट कौन करता है? फिक्स्ड कैपिटल नीड्स कुड बी फुलफिल्ड थ्रू मार्केट बोरोइंग्स एंड टर्म लोन फ्रॉम फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस. अभी फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस जैसे हमारे पास डीआईसी है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट इंडस्ट्रीज सेंटर है, या फिर अदर इंस्टीट्यूट्स लाइक सीडको, स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रीज डेवलप सीडो, small industries development corporations. So these are some of the institutions rather, who provide me the money which I require towards fixed capital. ठीक है. Moving further now, what we have to understand is fiscal and tax concessions. Now, what fiscal and tax concessions I require, or which are being offered to the entrepreneur. Let us understand that. Now, इसमें when I am talking about, yeah, I am talking about fiscal and tax concessions, meaning I am also talking about some incentives here. Incentives मुझे लगता है. Now, incentives एग्जाम्पल्स क्या क्या है इंसेंटिव्स के? इंडस्ट्रियल इस्टेट, इंडस्ट्रियल कॉम्प्लेक्स, अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ पावर, देन कंसेशनल फाइनेंस, कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट सब्सिडी, ट्रांसपोर्ट सब्सिडी. These are few examples of the incentives to solve. These are some examples of the incentives which I require or I can avail to solve my problems in small sector. small scale sector. So what schemes of government are there which help me out in terms of getting incentives? So what schemes of government I have? Government provides technical and other support services to small scale sector, MSME, yeah, SSI units through Directorate of Industries and District Industry Center. So DIC की तरफ से अपने को बहुत सारे schemes, incentives मिल सकते हैं. So in general, all the state governments extend their support by way of providing power subsidy. Power मतलब electricity subsidy, seed capital assistance, margin money, capital investment subsidies, priority in provide power connection or water connection, technical consultancy support. So in these cases, in these ways, the government incentives and subsidies can be availed by the entrepreneur. Now, what are some of the tax concessions which are available? So, what these tax concessions are? Let us see. क्या क्या है? Tax holidays for 3 years, 20% exemption on capital gain, taxes on turnover, payment of EPF by government, and presumptive tax. चलो एक एक करके देख लेते हैं. Simple things to learn. Tax holidays for 3 years. Now, in order to give the entrepreneurial venture a boost, the government in यूनियन बजट 16-17, मतलब आज से 5 साल पहले, the government announced to provide the deduction of 100% tax exemption during first 3 years of operation. This is very good benefit, we can say, the entrepreneurs can get from government of India, that 100% tax exemption during first 3 years of operation. So whatever your operations are, first 3 years of operations are all 100% tax exempted. Only the companies that are registered as startups under the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotions, which involve innovation, deployment, then development of commercialization of new products and all, um, they would be eligible for this 3 years tax benefit. So, in order to avail this offer, we have to get registered ourselves as startup under this Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, DIPP, to get these benefits. मोर ओवर, अगर हम इस तरह से हमारी कंपनी को स्टार्टअप बोल के रजिस्टर करते हैं तो 100% टैक्स एग्जेम्पशंस तो मिल ही जाएंगे. मोर ओवर, इन फर्स्ट 3 years ऑफ this eligible startup would not have to pay any tax for profit exempt minimum alternate tax. टर्मिनोलॉजी इन टैक्स, व्हाट वी हैव टू रिमेंबर इज, ये 100% टैक्स बेनिफिट मिल जाता है. प्रोविजंस वेयर मेड इन यूनियन बजट 16-17 to the startups who are registered under Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. Second exemption is,
तो हेलो
yes, yes, tell me.
मैम, वो स्टार्टअप इंडिया जो है उसमें रजिस्टर करना पड़ता है इसके लिए.
हाँ हाँ,
नो
और
यार.
उसके लिए भी ना, यू हैव टू
हाँ.
एंश्योर दैट you involve your activities, your startup activities, in innovation or maybe development or commercialization of new products or services, or maybe you are in the process of developing new products and services which are driven by technology. So there is some, we can say, restrictions on the person if he wants to avail these benefits, but then ये कुछ specific concessions है जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं. If you register yourself as startup, again there are some capital constraints also, कि तुम्हारा minimum capital requirement इतना है, there has to be so and so many partners, and इस तरह से हमारा functioning होना है करके. But then definitely we can say that for startups the things are quite welcoming in our country, we can say. कुछ ना कुछ चेंजेस होते ही रहते, दैट वी कैन ऑलवेज नो डिटेल्ड इंफॉर्मेशन वी कैन ऑलवेज आस्क आर टैक्स कंसल्टेंट्स, या फिर जो भी हमारे फाइनेंशियल कंसल्टेंट्स होते हैं. बाय कंसल्टिंग देम वी कैन गेट टू नो मोर अबाउट दीज गवर्नमेंट असिस्टेंस. ऑल राइट.
That means, ma'am, you need to make maybe a kind of project report like that explains what is your business model, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay. And then you are going to submit it over the that portal.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because I have asked this because I have seen one startup in Shark Tank India
Hmm,
where he just he and she, the both the person, the husband
hmm,
and wife,
hmm,
they have started one startup,
hmm,
and they just going here there just for the fundings, but they
hmm.
didn't get any kind of funding just because they don't have any kind of financial back support,
Okay,
but
okay.
their idea was excellent. So they got offer from four sharks. So sometimes what happen, outside world just judge us without knowing the idea.
Hmm, hmm,
They just consider the financial back supports, the like profit making strategies and everything. Don't see the idea of that
hmm, hmm, hmm,
startup also.
hmm, hmm.
So is it good, or what you say on this?
I mean, what I have to comment here, whether the entire report should be seen or what I mean.
Like if they prepared a report and they just
Hmm,
submit in front of you, then
hmm.
the first thing you will see is which kind of thing you will see the first.
Okay, see, now if you ask me, see, currently in this case I will just be encouraging you in the sense that how innovative that idea is matters the most. But then when somebody has to invest his money, like there are venture capitalists, they look at these ideas and they check whether the business is profitable or not. So if they find that the business is profitable, the idea is workable, then they really invest their money into. If you ask me, if that idea is good, we can definitely say that how to make it, commercially, how to make it viable. So you can ask for the assistance from bank, but then that is what is the problem that we have seen in entrepreneurial difficulties. Even though in India we have good ideas, but then actually converting that idea into reality is the biggest task. Somewhere we get demotivated, somewhere we don't get proper assistance. That is why when we are learning this subject, that is why having a mentor who can guide you all in these matters, जहाँ जहाँ पे support की ज़रूरत पड़ती है, maybe financial support, maybe
Mhm.
bringing that project into reality, it requires lot of support. So that mentor, if he is a person, experienced one, he can guide you and he can really take you through it. But if you don't meet such people, if you are not meeting the, or if you are not availing the services of proper or knowledgeable ones, then we can say that it may get delayed. But again, more what more I can say is, if your idea is really good and if you really want to make it successful, then probably it will take time, but definitely it can get converted into a workable project. I have seen one or two friends of mine, they really had this idea. I will not say excellent or something, but at least they had an idea and they wanted to um, go ahead and make it workable, and they have successfully done. Now also they are encountering lots of problems. Pandemic was one, then flood was there, but still they are surviving and they are managing with it. So, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So my take would be that meeting appropriate people and not losing hope is very important here. Now that reminds me a program. Yesterday only I came across. I don't remember. It is on these platforms. शायद Netflix पे है या Amazon पे. I don't remember. But that is what is the program. Now it is quite popular in US, where you have to come and you have to submit your idea. And if that idea gets selected, if that idea is liked by the panel of juries or those who are judging your idea, they ask you a lot of questions. They ask how strong your concept is and कितना डेप्थ में हमने सोचा है ये हमारी बिजनेस आइडिया को लेके. So if they like it, if these promoters they like it, then they really see to it that it gets converted into reality. They offer you some partnership in that venture along with giving you your fees. क्योंकि हमारे मतलब इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी जो है ना, दिस इज योर आइडिया, सो इट इज योर ओन ब्रेन चाइल्ड. So they get you paid for your brainchild, and they also see to it that it comes into reality. And in that venture also some partnership, let's say some 10%, 25% partnership is being offered to you, but then that idea has to be like that. So I was reading some 10-year-old girl, she actually came up with an idea that जो जो बेबीज के लिए जो टीथर्स होते हैं, when their teeth are about to come, the babies want to chew some or the other thing. So that girl came up with an idea of developing those teethers, and she also had some alarm or something she had this idea of fixing, so that it can give you some indication or something like that her idea was. And it really gained success, and the promoters really went ahead and they make it commercialized. So our discussion is that concessions and incentives are offered to startups, but then, as I said, meeting the right people and getting the advice at the necessary steps is very much required in entrepreneurial venture. Then next, wait a minute. Yes, the next concession which we have to discuss is 20% exemptions on capital gain. Now, capital gain are the taxes charged on profits gained from sale of students. 1 second. So, capital gains are the taxes charged on profits gained from the sale of capital assets such as stocks and bonds. So capital gain हम किनको बोलेंगे? The taxes which are charged on profits gained from sale of capital asset. Whatever capital assets you have, once you sell them, now whatever profit you earn because you have sold them, there is a this is called as tax on capital gain. The government has recently made provisions for exemption of 20% capital gains tax. So there is now the exemption up to 20% on capital gains tax. This provision was long pending demand by the startups. Now before this provision, most investments in Indian startups were compelled to root their in. Guys, 1 second. So this was a long pending request by the startups to have this some concessions, exemptions in case of capital gain tax. Taxes on turnover. The government levied 25% tax plus cess and surcharge on new manufacturing firms. However, the companies with turnover of less than 50 crore per annum, they have to pay 29% tax. Now, medium and small companies with turnover less than 50 crores are taxed at the rate of 25%. So, this step by the government would benefit approximately 6.6 lakhs companies in the country. Now, for these tax and concessions and exemptions, we can really take help of the consultants because they are they know the recent developments and which one is applicable more to us, from where to actually find some concession, or how to avail the how to avail these schemes in a better way. The experts are there to guide us. Now, payment of EPF by the government. Now, the government provides EPF, that is Employee Provident Fund contribution of 8.3% for the period of 3 years. Again, it is for startup. Earlier, it was 12% of employees' basic salary. Now, this move will relieve many employers by cutting cost of startups by 12% for straight 3 years, and will provide opportunities to hire competent candidates for their companies and all. Quite a technical thing to learn. Then presumptive tax. Now, what is this presumptive tax? It is mandatory for the entrepreneurs to maintain books of accounts. Yes, हमको ये सब डेबिट क्रेडिट वगैरह वगैरह तो सब मेंटेन करना होगा. However, under this presumptive taxation scheme, it is not required to maintain the books of accounts, and hence it will reduce the burden on entrepreneurs. So presumptive tax के अंदर it is not mandatory to maintain the books of accounts. So anyone whose income earned stands at 8% is eligible for this scheme. Again, there are some terms and conditions for the entrepreneurs to follow. Moving ahead is export oriented unit. So one of the export promotion schemes of government India, and it is in existence since 1980. So this export oriented unit is again export promotion scheme of India, that government wants the particular unit or particular area, we can say, to promote as export oriented unit, and this scheme came in existence since 1980. Now, what is this scheme? Under this scheme, manufacturing or service sector units are allowed to be set up with objective of exporting entire production of goods manufactured or services. So this scheme, export oriented unit, this scheme is basically meant for those units, manufacturing or service sector units, who are allowed to be set up with the objective of exporting entire production of goods manufactured or services. So they are supposed to export whatever number of units they are manufacturing or services they are rendering. If the entrepreneur is in a position to export 100% entire production of whatever he is producing with, then he can avail the benefit under this EOU scheme, export oriented unit scheme. अभी EOUs can engage इसमें, अभी जैसे the term says that manufacturing or service sector unit. So manufacturing मतलब what all can come under manufacturing. So development of software or जैसे services है, so development of software, if you are developing software and you are exporting it to the overseas clients, you are only giving your services to overseas clients, then this scheme can be availed. Repair, remake, reconditioning, re-engineering, so ये सब this all can come under manufacturing and services. So the list is given like granite, textile, food processing, chemical, software, pharma, and all. So point to remember here is that these are some of the industries under which, if you want to start your unit, manufacturing unit or a service unit, and if you can export the entire production, then you can take benefit under this scheme. Objective, some of the objectives of EOUs, export oriented units, are boost export. Abhi export boost karke what benefit I'll get foreign investment, I'll get foreign currency, not foreign investment, foreign currency I'll get, and whatever I am exporting, definitely that money which I am generating as a fee, या फिर my commission or my income out of this export will definitely be more than what business otherwise I'll make if I serve in domestic market. So I am earning also more, so that earning more meaning government को tax भी ज़्यादा मिलेगा, as well as I am getting foreign currency as well. जो पेमेंट होगा वो फॉरेन करेंसी में होगा. सो आई एम गेटिंग दैट फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व ऑल्सो. आई एम helping my country's foreign exchange reserve go up. That is why government is quite behind promoting EOUs. So export, इससे क्या फायदा होता है? I can boost export, earn foreign exchange, yes, attract foreign investments, yes, generating employment. Since I am exporting, I'm creating employment opportunities. हो सकता है कि this would be a unit which is exclusively meant for export. So additional employment will be created out of it. Backward and forward linkage by way of sourcing raw material from and supply of finished products to DTS. So basically, when we are increasing our operations, these are all the benefits and the advantages we get, because we are now we are now exporting also. Then SSI units. Now what we have to see under SSI units, what these units are, what are their causes of failure, and what could be the preventive measures. So what are SSI units? Small scale industries are those industries in which manufacturing, production and rendering of services are done on a small or micro scale. So SSI unit में there could be manufacturing, कन्वर्जन ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल इनटू फिनिश प्रोडक्ट, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो सकता है, प्रोडक्शन हो सकता है, या फिर यू कैन रेंडर दी सर्विसेज जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर कंसल्टेंसी सर्विसेज, डेवलपमेंट सर्विसेज. सो ये भी एसएसआई में आते हैं. सो दे आर डन ऑन स्मॉल और माइक्रो स्केल, छोटे स्केल पे जो ये एक्टिविटीज होते हैं. सो दोज इंडस्ट्रीज आर कॉल्ड स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज. These industries make a one-time investment in machinery, plant, and equipment, but this one-time investment, it does not exceed 10 crores, and annual turnover does not exceed 50 crores. If it exceeds, then it will not be called as SSI unit. So these industries need to ensure that their investment, one-time investment, does not exceed 10 crores and their annual turnover does not exceed 50 crores. Small scale industries are categorized into three parts: manufacturing or production. One second. Yeah. Manufacturing or production, ancillary and service industries. अभी let us see these in detail. अभी ये जो है देखते हैं क्या है. किसको हम बोलेंगे मैन्युफैक्चर, to whom we'll call the small scale industries, who is categorized or who is specifically into manufacturing and production. Let us see that. एक minute, that screen sharing, something went wrong. So manufacturing industries, that these are the industries. Yeah, is the screen visible to you, PPTs?
No.
It's not
Yes.
Yes,
visible.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Visible.
Yeah. Okay. So manufacturing industries are the units, manufacturing units, which produce finished products either for consumption or if they are used in processing industries, maybe for ultimate, I mean the finished products are for ultimate users, ultimate consumers, or maybe can be जैसे हम बोलते हैं semi finished products, which can be used by other processing industries as well. Now these types of small scale industries are generally individually owned. छोटे छोटे units होते हैं which are usually owned by the individuals. So manufacturing small scale industries एग्जाम्पल्स जैसे कि पावर लूम्स होते हैं, या फिर देर आर इंजीनियरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज या फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स, दे आर कमिंग अंडर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज. देन ancillary industries, ancillary, the big companies or these MNCs, they manufacture the goods, but they don't generally make all parts themselves. So there are vendors of these companies who are the ancillary industries. जैसे कि suppose for these multinational companies, there are some ancillary units which make few parts, जो जो कि छोटे मोटे parts बनाते हैं. So those are called as ancillary industries. So they are making the goods, but they in turn sell it to these big companies, or they only manufacture for these big companies or MNCs. उनको हम बोलेंगे ancillary industries. Service industries, yes, repair shop, maintenance industries, they come under the category of service industries. Some of the problems which are faced by these small scale industries in India, the problems are self explanatory. जैसे fund shortage, ये problem, this will probably be, uh, ranking at top whenever we'll discuss problems and entrepreneurship in India. Shortage of funds is definitely is the problem. Lack of latest technology, we cannot afford, these small manufacturers or small scale industries, though we say that their annual turnover should not exceed this, and their investment in plant and machinery should not exceed that. It's a probably one time investment these industries are making, but definitely as they face shortage of funds, similarly going for latest technology always is not possible. Raw material shortage, power shortage, labor problems, marketing problems, quality, then industrial sickness, production problems. They face actually lot of problems. Now these problems sometimes are because of the lesser finance available. Sometimes it could be because their operations are smaller. जैसे कि ancillary units है, totally their business is dependent on the big companies or the MNCs. So any issue the MNCs or these big companies come up with, then they definitely, these ancillary units, they have to pay for those issues. What role the SSI sector has in the economy? Let us see that. Now, first understand what is SSI, small scale industries. They play an important role for the development of Indian economy in many ways. Now, what role these SSI units have in Indian scenario? Definitely, their contribution is great. About 60 to 70% of total innovations in India, they come from SSIs. So in Indian scenario, it is almost 60 to 70%. बहुत सारे मतलब more than half of the innovations which happen, they come from these SSIs. Many of the big businesses today were all started small and then they nurtured into big businesses. So this is first step of many big businesses, that initially those businesses were SSI units, slowly and steadily, nurtured into big businesses. So what is their contribution? They provide employment. Small scale industries, they are providing employment opportunities. Good amount of employment is being generated through these SSIs. Now, they use labor intensive techniques. Therefore, it provides employment opportunities to large number of people. So, they basically provide employment to artisans, maybe technically qualified persons and professionals. Also provide employment opportunities to people who are engaged in traditional arts of India. Hmm? So such people, these village artisans and technically qualified people, in this way they get employment, and this number is quite big in number. No, this number is quite large. ये बहुत सारे लोग हैं इसमें who are coming under the category of artisans and technically qualified persons. It also provides employment to skilled and unskilled people also, and they provide these SSI units, industries provide employment to people in rural as well as people belonging to unorganized sector also. SSI facilitates women growth. Women growth, it provides employment opportunities to women also in India. It promotes entrepreneurial skills among women as special incentives are given to women entrepreneurs. Also brings balanced regional development. How they bring balanced regional development? They promote the decentralized development of industries, as most of the small scale industries are set up in backward and rural areas. Decentralized structure है ना, मतलब there is no industry set up centrally. All the villages, all the rural areas, and you will find small industries, small scale industries. So now because of this structure, what happens? It removes the regional disparities by industrializing the rural and backward areas and bringing the regional development. Now SSI wants to promote these units. They want to give employment to the village artisans and these small technical people who readily give their technical assistance, but their operations are smaller in nature. They are not like big giants who are operating. So when we are promoting them, when we are promoting such industries, meaning we are actually developing that region. So SSIs are also helping bring about the balanced regional development. They also help in mobilization of local resources. It helps, these SSIs help in mobilize and utilize the local resources like entrepreneurial talent in that particular area, or maybe the small village savings, self-help group jo hote hain. So they invest their earnings in such small scale industries which might otherwise remain idle and unutilized. So it also helps in effective utilization of resources. So this is all from fourth unit we have seen. Now इसमें एक point रहा है हमारा, it is related to women entrepreneurs, what problems they are facing. That problems we have covered, but then assistance to women entrepreneur, what financial assistance is being given to women entrepreneur is point which is remaining from this unit. And the last unit, it is about business plan and understanding some marketing terminology from entrepreneurship point of view. So next session onwards we'll begin with fifth unit. All right, so we'll stop our today's session here itself. um, all the best, and in case you have any doubt, please let me know, we'll cover it out. Fine. So good night, and I'm signing off.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Thank
Yeah,
you, ma'am.
thank you.